My friends, today, Stephen Harper announced that he's quitting as Prime Minister. And so today, I'm applying for his job. Unlike Stephen Harper, I'll be a Prime Minister who puts you and your family first. Unlike Stephen Harper, I'll act on the priorities of your kitchen table, not just the boardroom table. And I'll be a Prime Minister who will bring change, not just from the past 25 months, but from the past 25 years. You know, friends, the people who've been running this place behind me, they promised you they'd protect your job. They didn't do it. And I've stood with many of you who have paid the price. Like the father and son in Kenora. They were co-workers for years in their mill. And they told me what it's like to box up the equipment that they've worked with for years so the foreign-owned company they worked for could ship their jobs off to China. And you know, there are over 150 news stories of people losing their jobs like that every day in Canada. The people who have been running this place here behind me promised that they would help make your daily life more affordable. They didn't do it. And today, a record number of Canadians are drowning in personal debt. While more and more families just like yours are having a tougher time just making ends meet at the end of every month when they pay the bills at that kitchen table. They promised they'd reduce your health care wait times. Big priority. Well, they didn't get that job done either. And today, 5 million Canadians don't have a family doctor. They promised you they'd tackle the climate change crisis and protect the environment. They clearly didn't get the job done. And today, our ice caps are disappearing. I've witnessed it personally. Our sea levels are rising, and over 20,000 Canadians are dying each year due to air pollution. I know firsthand what it's like to rush an asthmatic child to the emergency ward on a smog day and watch them put oxygen masks one after the other on his face. No mom, no dad, no child should have to go through that experience. And you and I know that it doesn't have to be this way. That's why, over the last 5 years, we've built a very impressive team of New Democrats working for change. I'm talking about women and men with experience at every level of government. We're ready. And so in this election, voting for the New Democrats means supporting a vision of hope and optimism. It means choosing change that moves us forward, not backward. Now, let me tell you about the kind of change I'm proposing. Real change for the economy, for health care, for the environment. For the economy, I will stop tax cuts for companies who don't need them or who ship our jobs overseas. Instead, we'll invest that money with companies that provide training right here at home and are introducing the new energy economy, the green-collar jobs of the future. We'll invest in your kids so they can get the education that they deserve without mortgaging their future. And we'll stop these shameful rip-offs and gouging by cell phone giants, banks, big oil and credit card companies. For health care, we'll shorten the health care wait list not by making more empty promises like we've seen, but by training more doctors and nurses. And as your Prime Minister, I will not stand idly by and wait while tainted meat or bad water or any other public health emergency threatens your family's health. When it comes to the environment, I believe we have obligations to future generations that are not being honored or respected. We're going to make sure that Canada lives up to the challenge of climate change, not with Mr. Harper's idle words or by taxing you and your family, but with tough laws that force the polluters to clean up the mess they've made and continue to make. And we'll invest. We'll invest in the solutions that will create thousands of sustainable jobs and make environmental choices more affordable for you and your family. On the world stage, I believe that Canada can stand tall. I believe we can say goodbye to the George Bush era in our own conduct abroad. And I believe we can take the lead in worldwide efforts for peace and development. Now, I believe we can bring balance and pride to the Canadian voice at the tables internationally, La Francophonie, the Commonwealth, and the United Nations. You know, my friends, winds of change are blowing south of the border, and many Canadians are catching that sense of optimism, that sense of excitement, that sense that we could have a better North America, indeed even a better world. Well, we can choose that kind of optimism for Canada too, that hope for something better. Instead of a place where growing corporate wealth benefits only the few, we can build a Canada that looks after one another, that is as compassionate at home as it is competitive abroad. And instead of a place where our First Peoples live in third world conditions, we can strive for a social and economic equality for all of us. Instead of Mr. Harper's approach that views the immigrants and newcomers as little more than economic units, we can build a Canada that fulfills its promise to all of those who came here, wanting to make a better life for their children. Now, doing things the way they've been done for the past 25 years won't build that Canada. But choosing change that looks forward, not backward, can build that kind of Canada. And so, that's why we're offering, instead of Mr. Harper's approach, a vision that looks forward. And as your Prime Minister, I make the commitment to take Canada forward for every Canadian family. Now, as a first step towards that change, I need to ask Canadians to support me on October the 14th as Prime Minister. So I'm asking you for support, and I'm also telling you, don't let anyone tell you that that can't be done. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, mes chers amis.